So, for those of you that were here last week, which was everyone but Gordon, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. So, I would love to know what you have actioned. You know, we had that little action step at the end. Has anyone got any things that they've been working on?
Got my protein.
Yeah. How have you done that?
Tuna, like I said to you, in the gym, and then extra protein shake. It's gone up to like 170.
Nice. There you go. So your protein's higher. Yeah. Good stuff. Well done. Anybody else?
I've been taking my creatine because I stopped because I felt bloated and I've got rid of that. I'm back to having the protein shakes and I'm making my lunch while the coffee's being brewed as well.
Nice. Habit stacking. There you go. Nice one. Anyone else? Any shares?
I've been making vegetables more tastier, just curries and adding different flavours.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Along with chicken.
Yeah. Find that easier to get it in. Yeah, good stuff. Anyone else? All good, Laura?
I actually made my breakfast in the morning because I wasn't making it before. So.
There you go. You committed to that then, yeah? Been consistent?
When I go down and get my coffee, I'm not making breakfast. So.
Nice work. There we go. Awesome. Little habits, you see, and then it all starts to work. Cool stuff. So I've named this one today, Fuel, Sleep, Thrive. So mastering energy, food and recovery. So a few different topics, a few similar topics, but still down the same line with everything. So today's goals are, number one, to understand the role of sleep in fat loss and muscle building. There's a lot of science behind sleep, and I don't know if you've looked into it before or not, but we'll go through it quite a bit today. But it can be very underestimated on how sleep affects your results with your body fat, muscle building, whatever it is really, really important. Continue to improve our relationship with food as well, so that's a big part of, you know, this whole process we're doing these, so we will look into that a lot. And then we're just going to learn some practical lower calorie, high protein alternatives as well. So I'm just going to give you some different options that you can include in your diet. So, show of hands, who thinks they sleep enough right now?
I do now, Tom, but only in the last 2 months because I've got a new habit.
Okay.
I put my phone down, I read 2 chapters of my book and I'm in bed for 9:30. I'm a real granny, but 9:30 I'm in bed.
Solid. Good.
And I've just started that habit about 8 weeks ago and I'm getting a full 7 hours sleep now.
Nice, so it winds you down and gets you into exactly what
Yeah, but I honestly by 9 o'clock I'm like, oh, is it time to go to bed yet? Honestly, I'm such a granny. Even when it's my day off, the next day I'm still in bed at 9:30.
I go to bed at 10 every night, yeah.
Do you? Yeah, but my light's off at 10.
So what time do you wake up?
I wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yeah, every day, even on my day off. I come to the gym now at 7. I've got a habit of coming to the gym even on my day off.
That's it, absolutely solid, yeah.
So I'm doing that all the time. Well, you can imagine my other half, can't you? I'm even watching TV. Hi!
That's it, routine. Yeah, routine and habit, that's it. Does everyone else get good sleep, or is everyone a bit rough? No, a few shake of the heads.
Not in this weather, I'm not, but yeah.
Why, just because of the light? Too hot, yeah.
My bedroom's really warm, so I know that I can't really change that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually got one of them, the air cooler, like a smaller version in my bedroom. That's made a big difference, yeah. So yeah, we'll come into that anyway. But generally, people struggle sleeping a little bit, yeah. Do you think that affects your day and your decisions, your mood? Yeah. Yeah, so it's huge. So we will come into different areas on why sleep is so important and the impact it does have on weight loss and you know, muscle as well. When I talk about muscle as well, I don't mean getting big and muscly, like a lot of people have perceptions whenever we talk about muscle, you know, we're going to get jacked, but it's not about that. It's just about building muscle within your body. So the more definition you can have, the better you'll look. The better you burn calories as well. So sleep and hormones. So sleep increases ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone, okay? And decreases leptin, which is our satiety hormone. So if we're not sleeping enough, those hunger hormones get out of whack, which means we then crave food, and bad food as well, so high sugar. So our cravings go up due to sleep deprivation. It also increases cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So this can increase fat storage, especially in abdominal fat as well. So the impacts on sleep aren't just around your decisions, but it's actually the hormones within your body that affect different things as well. It reduces growth hormone and testosterone as well. So, high sleep deprivation can affect those areas, and it slows down, muscle repair and growth because of that. So, for men, for example, if you wanted to get stronger, build more muscle, testosterone can be affected, and growth hormone can be affected as well. And then in terms of metabolism, so sleep deprivation can lower our resting metabolic rate, which we don't want to happen, obviously. This can also lead to reduced insulin sensitivity as well, so higher fat storage, which again, we don't want to happen. And then the facts around sleep as well, so these are really interesting, and I'm learning a lot more about sleep as well and how it really does affect humans. So people who sleep 6 hours or less a night has scientifically proven are 30% more likely to gain weight. So that is pretty huge, isn't it, when you think about it, just to be able to sleep. Sleep restriction leads to increased calorie intake by between 300 to 500 calories a day. So when we're talking about the calories that we're trying to consume, let's say, for example, you're trying to aim for 2,000 a day. If you're sleep deprived, you could be potentially eating over 500 calories, which is going to put you in a huge surplus, and that's why we gain weight. Muscle recovery, so most growth hormone is released during deep sleep. So when we're talking about trying to build muscle and gain muscle, growth hormone is a big part of that, and most of your growth hormone is going to happen when you are in deep sleep, basically. So if we're not in deep sleep, then we're going to struggle building muscle. No matter how much work you're doing in the gym, no matter how hard you're training, if you're not able to recover and your hormones balance that out, then it's going to really struggle. So sleep tips. Rebecca's already covered one, but it's on here somewhere. Obviously aim for 7 to 9 hours per night. That's a pretty common one that we all know. Keep a consistent sleep schedule. So, like Rebecca, you said, you go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time. Your body is just like a clock, it gets used to what you do. And if you're constantly going to bed at different times, waking up at different times, it's not gonna naturally fall asleep. So when you do go into sleep, you're not necessarily in deep sleep, even if you think you're sleeping, if that makes sense. We want to get into that, REM. So, get into the deep sleep phase where we're actually in pure recovery. So keeping a consistent sleep schedule is crucial to that. So limit screen times, you'll have heard that before as well. The blue light can affect how we then go to sleep. So 30 to 60 minutes before bed, try to cut away from phones, TVs. It just helps your body come back to getting into that sleep status. Avoid caffeine after 2 to 3 p.m. So that can be a misconception sometimes. A lot of people think, can drink coffee till 5 or 6 or something and I'll be all right. But it takes a lot longer to get out of your system. So, 2 or 3 p.m. you want to be cutting that out if you can. Also, we don't really want to be relying on caffeine anyway, because that's just an unnatural way of feeding our energy. Make your bedroom cool, dark and quiet as best you can, obviously. So I know it's hard when we're in summer, and it's been a good summer this year as well, so it's been tough. But the cooler you can get it, obviously the darkest you can get is better. And that's the main one that you said, Rebecca. Consider just a wind down routine. So reading a book, stretching, meditation, something just to kind of get your energy down, relaxed, so your body knows that you are actually going to bed, going to sleep. It's just really important to wind yourself down rather than kind of being activated, because if you're scrolling through your phone, your brain recognises that, it's thinking about all the different million things that you're scanning through, and then when you go to bed, it's still thinking about all that stuff, so that's why you don't actually go to sleep properly. So what I want you to do, guys, is write down one habit you could improve tonight to sleep better that we've just discussed there, or anything else you can kind of think about. So what are we committing to? Off the phone, yeah. It's quite a big one for a lot of people, probably, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no more scrolling.
So I dropped to sleep within 1 minute. Right? And then I wake at 3. Sometimes I'm 2 hours, sometimes I never go back to sleep. So does the digital impact on me? Because it's like I'm going right away.
Yeah, it can.
You see that impacts me waking up?
It can, yeah, your brain can still be latching onto the things that you've been searching and looking at for, I don't know exactly the science on how long it stays in your brain, but it can prolong. It can't just be like that immediate way of going to sleep.
TV count there as well?
Yeah, anything. The thing is, like, your brain works in different ways. You've got signals that are coming in that you're actively thinking about, and then in the back of your head, it's got things that you're not actually thinking about in that moment. So them thoughts can then come into your sleep later on. That's why it's important to kind of get that wind down routine, because it's just kind of like bringing everything down and, you know, releasing all the energy. Yeah. Anyone else got any?
Keep on my phone and read more, and then keep up with my stretches each night.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of stretching on the night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick
The
life.
phone's a big one, like.
Yeah.
So you're getting a TikTok on, and then
I know, that's the problem, and yeah, cutting stuff out, that's just really, really important. So yeah, you know, the importance of sleep is obviously there to see, so it's just important to act on that and use these habits, because it can really impact how you make progress with your fat loss or your strength building. So don't neglect it, as, you know, we all focus on like the food and the exercise and everything, but sleep is just as important, if not more probably, because if you're not sleeping, then all the work that you are actually doing isn't even coming in, like it's not even doing anything really. We've got to be able to recover and repair and get our hormones back into homeostasis. So yeah. So we're going to move on to improving our relationship with food. So that was a big one last week, I think, for everybody, you know, just improving habits and how we talk about food and the language and everything, if you are struggling in that area. So why relationship matters. So emotionally eating or strict dieting can lead to, you know, guilt, and it can lead to cycles of overeating as well. So it's just important to understand why we need to build a better relationship with food. And that's why we follow a balanced approach that supports long-term fat loss and muscle gain. No crash diets, no fad diets, long-term approach that's going to be sustainable long-term. So I've got a game for you this week. We're going to play the hunger versus craving game to test your knowledge. So if you turn onto that page, you'll have a little tick box and on either side, and we're going to go through these together. So it's 3 p.m. You just ate lunch an hour ago, but you walk past a bakery and suddenly want a croissant. Versus it's 7 p.m. You haven't eaten since lunch. Your stomach is rumbling. I want you to put a tick in the hunger and a cross in the craving box. Next one, your afternoon work meeting ran way over schedule and missed lunch. Now you can't stop thinking about food. Versus it's 9 p.m, you had your evening meal a couple of hours ago, but your partner just opened a bag of Doritos and now you want some. Next, you've been on your feet all day, 6 p.m, your stomach feels empty and you're excited for dinner. Versus you see an Instagram or TikTok post of pizza and immediately think about ordering some. And then it's Saturday late afternoon, you've been out with your friends all day and you're just craving snacks. Versus you've just trained at the gym, 30 minutes later you feel low on energy and the hunger is kicking in. So pretty obvious, I'm not actually testing you on that, you should all probably know them, right? But it's just good to know these scenarios and how it can affect you. So, you know, we need to understand what is actually our hunger and what is actually our kind of mind telling us that we've just got cravings, because we're going to come across all these different scenarios in our life, and then it's a case of how we can avoid them. So how can we stop those situations happening? So for example, it's late afternoon, you've been out with friends all day and you're just craving snacks. That's probably because you've not eaten anything nutritious all day, you've not had any protein or fibre, so that means you're just starving, and when you're out with your friends, you're not going to go and have a salad and a chicken salad or something, probably, are you? It's unlikely. So that's why it's important to get that nutritious food in early, so then later on in the day, we're not just absolutely starving and then we're just going to grab something really easy. Whereas, you know, you've just trained at the gym, 30 minutes later you're feeling low on energy, that's just a normal situation that's going to happen. That's when we need food, that's when our body's asking for it. For example, if you've been on your feet all day at 6 p.m, your stomach feels empty and you're excited for dinner, again, it's planning and preparing, so we're not going through a full day without eating, getting to the end of the day, which most people do, and then having a big dinner at the end of the day, or feeling even hungrier, you have your dinner and then you start to snack on stuff. If we can feed our body through the day with nutritious stuff, high protein, then we're going to be all right. We're not going to feel that sudden burst of hunger. Avoid Instagram, TikTok. So yeah, exactly. It's things like that. That is, you know, what you need to do. It's like what we talked about last week about your environmental triggers. If you've got things there always popping up, and you know, unfortunately, the algorithm of Instagram will target you if you click on it. So we want to try and avoid having that stimulus in front of us all the time, because then it's a case of that willpower thing again. So yeah. Again, it's not always easy, you know, we've got work that gets in the way sometimes, but if we can keep things on hand, that makes it a little bit easier to grab something healthier snacks on board, then it's going to be better than going all day without food again and then caving in. And then again, making your environment better. If we've got, you know, snacks and stuff at home, then it's quite often that we can go towards them. So it's making your environment better, and you know, having supportive people around you to help that as well. So does that all kind of make sense? Yeah. It's just good to know. Obviously, you know which one's which, but it's good to recognise it and see where that kind of comes up in your life. So we're going to go through some science-backed tips as well. And these just really help to know, you know, how to structure our diet, how to structure our lifestyle. So mindful eating, slow down, focus on your hunger cues, stop eating when 80% full. So that's a big one, because our body actually doesn't recognise that we're full immediately. It can take 30 to 45 minutes to actually recognise that you are full. So if you can eat your kind of meal and then kind of roughly guide that you're 80% full, stop, leave it half an hour, there's a high chance that you are going to be full after that point rather than immediately. You can also do things like making sure that your plate, obviously your portion sizes aren't too big, have small plates so you don't overfill it, things like that. And also just on the slow down point, chew your food as well. Like a lot of people rush their food, and then if you quickly eat, then you're just going to be hungry because your body hasn't had that time to digest it and recognise that you're actually full. We don't want to label foods as good or bad either. This can lead to cravings and binging. So instead of saying some good foods are good and some are bad, we can call them more nutritious and less nutritious food. That's the way I like to talk about food. There's no foods that are bad and off limits. You know, everything has a place in moderation, obviously. So if we talk about food as being 80% of our diet is more nutritious, potentially 20% of our diet is less nutritious, then, you know, that's the kind of goal that we want to get towards. And obviously we want to include protein and fibre in each meal to reduce cravings. So that's our satiety kicking in as well. If we can base our meals off of that, then it's going to help us feel fuller for longer. Plan ahead, avoid last minute decisions that lead to unhealthy choices. Again, we went through that last week, and you all know planning and preparing is the key to everything. If we've got everything planned out and we make time for that and we structure it in our routine, Lee, like you said last time, I think, didn't you? You know, set a day to prep your meals. So important, to get everything structured and ready. Last minute decisions are always going to be worse ones. So guys, page 3, I want you to write down one trigger that makes you overeat and think of an alternative response. So whilst you have a think, I will put some ideas up for you as well. So we do have general triggers that are always going to get to us. So stress, anxiety, boredom, loneliness, and these are our typical responses. So stress and anxiety, eating. Hey Nikki, all right? Come take a seat. There's a book there and there. So typical response, eating comfort food, crisps, sweets, fast food, that's a general thing that we do. Whereas an alternative response can be, we can do some deep breathing, we can do some journaling, go for a short walk, quick body weight circuit to release some tension as well. So like we say, break a bad habit, create a good habit. Boredom, typical response, we just mindless snacking, we just grab anything around us and we just eat. Alternative response, just do something stimulating. So an activity, read, call a friend, organise your home, clean or something like that, learn a new skill, get doing different things than just sitting there and snacking, because it's so easy to fall into. Loneliness, typical response, using food or comfort, for comfort, and an alternative response can be connect with someone, send them a message, ring them up, have a FaceTime, join a new group or hobby, do something different, go for a walk in a social setting as well. Just get doing something different that's more positive for yourself rather than sitting around and going to food as the choice. So easy to do. So yeah, have a think of that, guys, and write down a trigger that you feel comes up in your life, and then how can you change that and give a different response to it. Anyone got any good ones you'd like to share?
One thing that I'm just thinking about is the time of the day. All my life I've always had breakfast quite early. Lunch around sort of 12, 1, and an evening meal about 5, 6 o'clock. And that kind of triggers a sense of I'm hungry. But when it comes to overeating, I just think I need to sort of start to vary when I eat.
Yeah, I mean, the times that you eat don't necessarily...
Contrast a bit with the sleep.
Well, it is your body is a clock no matter what, like whether it's sleep or food, your body will recognise that. So if you're used to eating at a certain time, it'll always trigger itself a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. Like, if you kind of get into that routine, it's not gonna hold you back in any way. Because at the end of the day, what we're focusing on is how much quantity of food have we had in terms of calories, and what is the quality of food that we've had. So the times don't really matter that much. But do you feel like that makes you overeat?
I need the sense of feeling full.
Yeah. Do you not feel full in those times after you eat?
Sometimes I think about this 80% thing, but that might be something to work on.
Yeah, you can try that, and then just leave it half an hour, see if you are full after that. I mean, when you normally eat, do you feel hungry afterwards, like after an hour later? No. So you do get high satiety when you do eat. Yeah. And then do you just overeat in between that?
I just eat until I feel full.
Right.
And then that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably say just try that 80% kind of rule. Try and eat until you feel 80% full. Leave it half an hour and then see if you're still hungry or not. and then that'll give you a signal that your body's actually.
So there is something deep in one's psyche about being brought up to, eat everything on the plate.
It is, yeah.
It's another issue.
If you put food there, you're going to want to eat it. So
Smaller portions would work.
smaller portion sizes. If you buy smaller plates, you can just naturally bring your food down. A lot of people have like big plates, and you tend to just fill the plate with food. So if you can make things smaller, then it does help. Anyone else got any other triggers that you get?
Mine's going back to sleep at night. I can't sleep. Trigger is going for snacks or pure important.
Yeah.
Finding something to do. I'll tell you, as long as we just don't want to be having snacks in the first place in the house. Or change the bad snack for something, go get fruit instead.
Yeah, that's two good options you can do. So, I mean, first of all, if you got your sleep better, then obviously that's going to wipe that out. But yeah, it's making your environment better again, making sure that things out there that you can just go to the cupboard and snack on. Because generally, if you're like half asleep, then you're going to probably make bad decisions with that. But yeah, having good options in there as well. But yeah, if you can crack your sleep and get that better, that's going to make a big difference. Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, have I been accidentally pressing it? Yeah. No, all good?
I find it's not overeating as such, but if I meet my friend at the weekend and we go for a cuppa and I've got to have a bit of cake or a scone or something with it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of habit really. We usually share, we'll get something and we'll have it. But I just can't have the cup of tea on its own, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a habit that you've built over a long time probably. So you've got to make a decision. Is that really holding you back over the course of your week? Or, do you feel like you need to just completely get rid of that? Yeah, or is it that much of a kind of problem? Because if it's a small amount, you're sharing it, then I'd say you're probably doing the right thing because you're not just having one big thing by yourself. I mean, how frequent is it?
At least once a week.
Once a week, so it's not too bad, I don't think. Yeah. I think if you were going every day and you were having a muffin every single day, then I'd probably say, try and cut that down to once a week. So I don't think that's a massive issue, yeah. Got to have some things that we can enjoy as well. Anyone else want to share, or all good with that? All good? Cool. So yeah, live by those, decisions, think about the triggers that are happening and make sure you do act on doing something differently. So we've also got some practical habit examples. So we thought about habits last time as well, but good just to reiterate these. So eat at the table without screens for at least one meal a day. If you get into a bad habit of sitting on the sofa and eating in that way, then that's quite a negative kind of habit to have. Pre-portioned snacks to avoid overeating from large packages. So again, if you buy something large, like a large bag of crisps, you're generally going to go through it all and eat it. A large box of chocolates or whatever it is. So we can portion those out. Something Charlotte does, my partner, she just has one little square of chocolate and she has that every night. And she just puts it aside and that's all she has. So if you get the full bar out, then generally you're probably going to go through it. So it's just pre-portioning it and if you are going to have these things, then just make it a decision that you're going to do. Use a food journal for 1 week to track triggers and patterns. So you might not recognise the triggers that are actually happening just off the top of your head. So I would recommend just getting a diary down, just a blank piece of paper, whatever it is, in your notes on your phone, and just assess your full day of what is going on. So did I eat something at this time? Did I cave into some snacks at this certain day, have a look over a course of a normal week and then just write down exactly what is going on and what are the triggers and what is kind of holding you back. Because there might be things that you don't even realise you're doing sometimes, they're just naturally creeping into your life. So if you can write it down, dissect it and see, every Friday afternoon I have a biscuit or something like that, then we need to kind of obviously figure out how to change that. And then, swap emotional eating habits with non-food rewards. So walking, calling a friend, listening to music, taking up a new sport or hobby or whatever it is, think of something else to do rather than thinking about food. So we're going to go through some low-calorie, high-protein food choices. So I have put these in your book so you can take them home. So firstly to say, these aren't essential. Like, generally, if we're going to be cutting out all the bad stuff in our diet, then we're going to be reducing our calories anyway. But these are some options that you can switch over if you want to, improve things a little bit more. So I'm not saying that any of these are bad. You can include them into your diet in moderation. So firstly, I'm not just saying, right, we can't eat pasta and white rice and everything. That's not what I'm saying. But if you want to reduce calories and make something a little bit healthier, then we can swap pasta for things like zucchini noodles. So much lower in calories, adds fibre as well, so it's going to fill you up. If we have white rice, change that to something like cauliflower rice. Fills the plate without excess calories, so you can actually get more of it and then feel fuller and fuller for longer. You could even split it as well if you wanted some white rice, but then get some more cauliflower rice to bulk it up, and then your meal gets bigger and then you're going to feel fuller. Ice cream, we can switch to Greek yogurt and berries, so protein boost, less sugar, higher nutrients as well. Fizzy drinks, now this is the one that I don't want to ever see in anyone's diets. There's no reason for fizzy drinks to be in your diet because there's so many alternatives. We can have sparkling water and lemon, we can have diet drinks. Like, diet drinks is okay. I drink them on a weekend as a bit of a treat, and they affect nothing towards my goals because there's no sugar, there's no calories. We would have to be drinking over, the science says, about 36 cans of diet drinks a day for it to be harmful for our health. So you might have heard in the news sometimes that, diet drinks are really harmful, cancer and all that. That's not the case. Like, there's no science whatsoever that suggests that. So they're okay, again, in moderation, and that is going to be the biggest problem if you are consuming fizzy drinks, so there's no need. And then we've got things like chicken thighs, so chicken breast instead. So things like chicken thighs, much higher in fat. So if we pick a leaner protein source like chicken breast, it's going to be lower calories, lower fat. And there's lots of options similar to that. So like beef, if we have 20% beef mince, high fat, we can choose a lower 5% fat alternatives. Little things like that are obviously going to contribute to bringing your calories down overall within your week, and it's going to make a big difference. So some quick and easy high protein foods. Eggs, egg whites, lots of different ways you can make that a little bit more interesting, but they're the perfect protein source to go to. They're the best digesting protein source out there. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, canned tuna or salmon, again chicken breast, turkey breast, you can pre-make it. Protein shakes, protein bars, make sure you pick the right ones, not high calorie ones. Edamame beans, lentils, different types of beans as well, black beans if you're plant-based. These are all nice and easy snacks that you can have within your diet that's going to up that protein content, okay?
John, what's honey like?
In what context?
Is it good or bad? So there's a perception it's good, but it's really sweet, right?
So again, not necessarily good or bad, but it depends what the nutrition content you're trying to put in. So is it a better alternative than having like sugar on something? Then yeah, it's more natural. You're still going to be including sugar and calories within your diet, so I would say use it in moderation if you're going to use it, because it's still going to contribute to higher calories and higher sugar. It's just a more natural one than other alternatives. So it's a better option than most, but you've still got to be watched, but got to be careful. yeah, it's just like nuts as well. Like nuts are really healthy, good quality fats, but very high in calories. So if we're eating lots of nuts, seeds, then it's going to contribute to high calories in our diet, and then we can be in a surplus.
Hazelnuts have got loads of calories, haven't they?
Yep. Yeah. So
Hazelnuts.
it is. Yeah. So you know, the healthy foods that we have as well, we've got to be careful of the amounts that we have. So, like I've said loads of times, include protein in every meal. It supports satiety, it supports muscle repair, muscle growth. Use these different snack ideas, so boiled eggs, yogurt with berries, hummus with veggie sticks also, rice cakes with almond butter. I tend to have them quite a lot. Rice cakes, very low calorie, can get different flavours and everything. Better alternative than crisps, for example. Batch cook as well, so grilled chicken, boiled eggs, roasted chickpeas. If you have these things available, then you can use them as snacks.
The ones of the rice cakes, are they alright?
Yeah. Again, always check the packet, like always read the labels, check what's in things, because you don't know everything, there's lots of different things out there. But yeah, I mean, I get salt and vinegar, 30 calories. Obviously, you got to be careful of the salt content, you are going to be having some salt in there, but if we're looking at a kind of calorie perspective, then it's pretty good.
Do you choose diet hummus or do you have full fat?
What's that?
If you were having hummus, would you have low calorie hummus or would you have full fuel?
I don't actually eat it, so
You don't eat it?
no.
Why? It's quite high in calories, isn't it? When it's,
I just don't have it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried it, to be honest. I don't know. I'm quite a not fussy, plain eater, I'd say. Yeah. I'm pretty kind of. I have my core foods, and that's what I stick to. That's just me. But yeah.
But would you go for things that were diet or would you go for full fuel? Because there's this sort of science between that diet's got added sugar and saccharines and rubbish in it, whereas you
Like
full
fat Greek yogurt.
Yeah, there's low fat yogurt,
low fat
full
yogurt.
fat yogurt.
Yeah, so which would you do in Greek yogurt? Would you go for low calorie or for full?
Yeah, I mean, again, you got to look at the context. So if we're aiming to get our calories down, then we're going to go low calorie. But then you sacrifice a little bit of the quality of it. So you're going to have, additives in there that are not particularly as good for you. I would probably lean towards the low calorie if we're chasing, low weight loss, because then you can include it in your diet a lot easier. And I don't think the kind of the stuff they put in are that bad to sacrifice that probably. So yeah.
I probably know the answer to this, but what about the chocolate coated rice cakes?
I would probably look on the label on that one. I've not looked myself, but I imagine they're probably a little bit higher calorie. So yeah.
Bit addictive.
They're really good. I used to
Yeah.
have instant chocolate digestive.
Yeah, just check the label, check what's in it.
Just thinking up against the almond butter, I'd rather give that a miss of the bit of chocolate.
Again, yeah, I mean, when you look at it as what quality you get in, obviously the almond butter is a better choice because it's healthier fats. But yeah, you've got to kind of come to them conclusions yourself and weigh up, do I want to focus on the calories and bringing them down? What else have I had within my day? Can I afford to have that as a lower nutritious kind of option? Has the rest of your day been 80% decent stuff? Okay, then I can probably afford to have the chocolate coated rice cakes. Just the one.
Sorry to ask another question. In terms of bread, if you see the thing, I don't know if you've all heard the thing of like brown bread's healthier than like white bread or is that really the case? How it's been processed or what's it?
It is, yeah. I mean, obviously, when you get whole grain, whole meal stuff, it's more natural the way it's processed. But again, when you're looking at it at a kind of calorie perspective, I mean, it'd probably be higher calorie being whole grain because white bread tends to be less. So you've got to ask yourself, do I want to go down a more quality route, or do we want to look at it at a calorie perspective? Because I mean the calories, they're probably going to be pretty similar by the end of the day. So do you want to enjoy it a little bit more and have white, and your calories are still going to be pretty much the same, or do you want to just get better quality in there in the way it digests in your body? Because you're going to get more fibre through the whole meal kind of option, so that's going to make you feel fuller for longer. Whereas if you go white bread, then it might not fill you up as much. So yeah, you've got to kind of make these decisions a little bit and just base it off, what's my kind of calorie goal? Am I working towards that? How much quality food have I had this day or this week? What can I afford to kind of include in my diet? Does that help?
Can I ask another question? Do you eat protein bars?
Occasionally, again, quality-wise, not that great protein bars.
So when you really look at the might as well have a Mars bar.
They've got a lot of sugar in them.
Honestly, some of them, if you read them.
So some really will, yeah. You can get better quality ones than others, but
Which would you eat?
I will always try and just focus on ones that have the highest protein content and have no sugar. So there's lots of zero sugar ones out there. So you will find that the calories are probably quite high in most of them, because they're either going to have sugar in them or they're going to have fats in them. They'll generally have like nuts or something like that, which is all right because that's not too bad in terms of quality. I would just use it if I've got no other options. Yeah, convenience. I would rather you have that because there's going to be more nutrients in there than a Mars bar. That's what I'd say. So that's going to give you more protein, more nutrients, better quality, more compared to a Mars bar or something. But I wouldn't rely on them. I wouldn't use that as one of my choices to get protein in my diet.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Whereas a protein shake is different. That's much better quality, and you can use that. Fuel's fine, yeah. Same kind of lines as protein shakes. Again, I wouldn't rely on them all the time. Like, we want to get as much quality food, real food as we can. But I would definitely include them in your diet to up protein. I have them every day, so I that's one of my protein sources that I have in. But I also have eggs, chicken, fish, beef as well. So I eat a lot of quality food, but I also have protein shakes to increase the content. Any other questions?
Why does my protein shake make me so hungry?
Make you hungry? Should do the opposite.
It doesn't. It makes me really hungry. An hour later, I'm starving.
Do you have it with anything else?
A banana sometimes.
Yeah. Tricky question to ask to answer. I mean, generally, you're getting protein in, so you should feel more. Do you have anything to eat kind of close to that?
Yeah.
So it could just be a bit of a trigger that your body's consumed something and then it's like, oh, food, I want more. Yeah, probably. Yeah, your body does have these signals. Like when you start to cook food, your body, like when you smell it, your body then triggers. Your digestive system starts to work and then naturally think, oh, I'm ready for food. So it's things like that probably. But I'd have an answer for that one to help. So just to recap, key points, guys. So sleep affects our hormones, our metabolism, our muscle recovery. Super important. I want you to go away and make sure sleep is one of your number one priorities to get right, because without it, everything else fails. Mindful eating, positive food habits, improve our long-term results. So again, we're thinking long-term with all of this that we're trying to do, guys. We can't just click our fingers and become habit kings and queens and, be absolutely perfect. So we're trying to build these in over the weeks. This is why these workshops are going to be really useful, because we just revisit things and we think of new things, brainstorm, just keep our minds thinking about it all the time. Smart swaps and high protein foods make healthy eating simple and sustainable. So think of those smart swaps that you can get into your diet. If you struggle getting protein in, there's loads of options there in your booklets that you can use now, and use them wisely. So I've got some homework for you to do again. What I want you to do is track your sleep this week, aim for 7 to 9 hours for the week. I'd strongly recommend just getting that consistent go to bed, wake up routine. That's going to be a big one, yeah. Yeah, they're really good. They will show you. So yeah, things like that can be really beneficial. Get off your phones. Ben, I'll be checking your TikTok user. But yeah, avoid stuff like that before you go to bed. Really important. I want you to implement one mindful eating habit as well. So, you know, going without screens for a meal, or whether it's before bed or whatever, try and think of just one thing that you can focus on this next week, nail it, and then try to keep that habit going afterwards. And then just try, you know, 2 of the lower calorie swaps, 2 of the new high protein snacks. If you can just add them into your day, then it's going to help your diet overall as well, if that's something that you need. And that is us, guys. So I have renamed this. Before I called it the Weight Loss Club, and I thought it's a bit of an old kind of term. I think you called it the Fat Club, didn't you? So I think that's... I think the Habit Hub probably sums this up. I mean, we are focusing on weight loss, but it's everything else as well. You know, it's changing our habits, it's changing, you know, building muscle or just getting healthier, improving your health optimization. It's not all about weight loss, even though that's kind of what we're here for. But yeah, I'm going to rename it the Habit Hub just for everybody to feel inclusive. We're not all fat people in here or anything like that. So yeah, next one's on the 20th of September, so the last Tuesday of the month. That'll be the same every month except for December. I'll change that one. So yeah, let me know if you want to be involved again. I'll stick around for 10 minutes if anyone wants to ask me anything. But yeah, thanks for coming, guys. All right. You're in.